Thank you for attending today's webinar. My name is Rochelle Fleming, and I'm on the America's Partner Marketing team. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be at today's webinar, Drive Industrial Productivity with Siemens Teamcenter, Microsoft Teams, and Azure OpenAI. We're so happy to have you here. In this next hour, you'll get a chance to hear from 3 experts specifically around these areas, which include manufacturing trends, Teamcenter and Azure key challenges, Teamcenter app for Microsoft Teams, responsible AI, and also Q&A. So I'd like to introduce you to today's 3 experts, our speakers who we're so happy to have as part of this discussion. Alesh Alej-Begovic is the head of product management, marketing, and business development for lifecycle collaboration software at Siemens, managing premier ALM and PLM tools, Polarian, and Teamcenter. Before that, at Dassault Systems, he crafted the go-to-market strategy for Simulia, guided a global tech sales force of 800+ engineers, and seamlessly integrated teams from major acquisitions. While at Exa Corporation, he championed the ground transportation go-to-market strategy, which constituted 95% of the firm's revenue and was pivotal in product management, leadership, and bolstering partnerships. Alesh possesses a PhD in engineering physics. Keith German is a senior product manager for Teamcenter with 30 years experience in the PLM area, working in industries such as aerospace and defense, automotive, medical devices, and others. Along with managing the collaboration tools for Teamcenter, Keith has worked in areas of service lifecycle, business process management, as well as reporting and analytic tools. And Guy Bursell, who's also on the discussion today, is Director of Business Strategy within the manufacturing and mobility industry team at Microsoft. This team is responsible for driving Microsoft's industry strategy and solutions, development of Microsoft's global industry partner ecosystem, as well as strategic engagements with global multinational customers. Guy has 20 years experience working with customers globally in deploying leading industry product life cycles, first as a solution architect, as well as a product manager overseeing platform architecture, modernization, and cloud evolution, transformation, and support. Alesh, I will hand it to you.
Thank you. So first, let's start with the digital transformation. So pretty much everything that we're going to be discussing today has to do with implementing digital transformation into our processes. And the question is, why are we doing that? So, I mean, obviously, by having a process based on digital transformation and have a ability to carry a digital twin through a continuous digital thread process, we get tremendous benefits when we are manufacturing products. And when the companies consider implementing digital transformation, they're usually looking at 3 things. First, define biggest gaps and the pace of change that they would like to use in order to transform the process. They need to consider the balance between the costs and return of transformation that they're going to achieve. And of course, none of this can be done alone. I mean, there is a lot of things that need to be done. And in order to provide the best possible process, it's necessary to work with partnerships. And of course, these partnerships need to deliver benefits in order to provide a return on investments in these things. Next slide, please. So I'll talk a little bit about the partnership that we have between Siemens and Microsoft. So we know both companies are really giants in the industry. Both companies are existing for a long time. We have a partnership with Microsoft for over 35 years that resulted in a lot of innovation and joint engagements with benefiting thousands of our customers. This strong foundation is the anchor of empowering our customers whenever we work together, right? And of course, when it comes to Microsoft, through continuous innovation, Microsoft remains a dominant force in the tech industry, shaping the way people work, play, and communicate. And similarly, Siemens, which is existing for almost 200 years, operates in many different sectors of industries, including energy, healthcare, infrastructure, digital services. And Siemens offers a wide range of products and solutions. Siemens provides a commitment to innovation and sustainable technologies, and it plays a pivotal role in fields like electrification, automation, digitization, and impacts industries and societies worldwide. So if we go to the next slide. So now, what are we going to be talking about here? So really, what we are discussing is the partnership in two areas. When it comes to Siemens is accelerator, and when it comes to Microsoft is the Azure cloud. So together, Siemens accelerator and Microsoft Azure deliver a potent combination of advanced engineering tools and robust cloud infrastructure. So when one integrates Siemens in comprehensive digital twin and product lifecycle management or PLM capabilities with Azure's scalable cloud services and artificial intelligence analytics, customers benefit from streamlined workflows, much faster innovation cycles, and definitely with an optimized product development. This synergy allows businesses to harness the full potential of digital transformation and achieving that by ensuring agility, efficiency, and competitiveness in increasingly connected and data-driven marketplace. Next slide, please. So we've commissioned a survey a few years ago, where we try to understand how are our customers working on implementing different life cycles and how they are benefiting from digital transformation. We have found out something very obviously. So what we did is we split the surveyed customers into three groups, into very progressive, mid-progressive, and not that progressive. And then we were trying to understand how they implement digital transformation and what is the return on investment that they get when they do that. What we found out was actually quite obvious, that the most progressive customers that we were talking to, they can get significant benefits when they proceed with implementing digital transformation in their product life cycles. So they usually reach and hit the revenue targets more than 10%, more than the rest of the people that we surveyed. They usually achieve higher margin goals, and in the end, they are much more successful in significantly reducing the need for physical prototypes. So this would be like observing a reduction of 20% of physical prototypes, which helps profitability quite a bit. So if you go to the next slide, and in the same way, when we were asking them what are their plans when it comes to the move to the cloud, it's quite overwhelming that that's what everybody wants to do. So the 81% of our surveyed customers, they're talking that they want to use PLM on the cloud. 84%, they want to use CAD and CAM on the cloud. And 83%, they were talking about their needs and requirements to switch and use simulation tools or CAE on the cloud. So please proceed with the next slide.
So thank you, Alish.
Yeah.
So having looked at those trends and what our customers are telling both of us, I want to spend just a few minutes to outline what Microsoft Azure Cloud really, brings as a foundation or platform for co-innovation and secure collaboration. So Microsoft is a global cloud hyperscaler with Azure, and we have the largest geographical footprint of any cloud provider, operating over 60 Azure regions in 28 countries across all continents. And just to put that into perspective, that's more regions than our two nearest competitors combined. This really provides you with seamless integration and a common management plane of resources across both heterogeneous and hybrid environments. So you can really kind of think about, cloud and edge. Azure is a global network with, there's over 160 edge sites, well in excess of 20,000 peering connections. I think I recently heard there's over 200,000 miles of, fiber and undersea cables. And, from a compute perspective, there's over 150 virtual machine size options. Microsoft invests over $1 billion annually in cybersecurity. We analyze trillions of signals every day at the Cyber Defense Operations Center, where there's over 3,500 full-time security professionals. And Azure has it's well in excess of 100 compliance certifications now, including over 50 that are specific to global regions and countries such as the US, the EU, Germany, Japan, the UK, China, India. There are also compliance offerings that are specific to certain industries and individual governments. So we often refer to Azure as the world's computer, and it really kind of stands at the forefront of driving digital transformation with manufacturers globally. So one thing just to take away from here, ultimately, we're empowering manufacturers with the ability to easily shift engineering, production, and other workloads away from their on-premises data centers, where they're locked away, to a global, secure, compliant cloud and open innovation opportunities. And it really becomes a platform for co-innovation and secure collaboration, where complex applications can be delivered quickly and efficiently to the enterprise. So manufacturers can really grow, scale, and adapt to wherever the business needs are. And if we move on to the next slide, one of the areas we're going to focus today really is with Siemens Teamcenter. And there are a number of reasons that manufacturers are moving Siemens Teamcenter to Azure. So I've highlighted a number of them here. We think about being able to engineer anywhere. Engineers are no longer centralized to, they're very geographically dispersed. So Azure brings you accessibility to both data and applications. You think about end-to-end workflow enablement, being able to adopt global release, change, and engineering processes instead of local or regional processes and practices. That single source of product truth means an accelerated product development process and a real ease of sharing of product data across multiple locations globally. You think about IT efficiency and cost of ownership. Some of our delivery partners are showing us how they can provide our customers with proven total cost of ownership savings of up to 60% alone. If we think about automation, our partners are showing us that they can deliver deployment automation and reduce application deployment times by up to 30%. We think about high performance computing and AI. Really, our focus for being here today. This is really, with Azure referred to as often as the world's computer, Azure really also provides specialized computing SKUs which allow you to align price performance in compute, GPUs, and application performance. So Azure was first to market for partition GPUs, and we brought the Azure OpenAI service with our generative AI technologies as examples. And we're going to go deeper into that, later on in today's session. So some of our partners are reporting application performance improvements of up to 10% with Azure Compute alone. We think about speed and agility. And one of the most common trends we see is customers not only migrating Teamcenter to Azure, but consolidating the various data silos and instances of Teamcenter to a single source on Azure, which then really means that you can accelerate your product development processes and reduce time to market, even reacting to customer and market demands efficiently and effectively. We think about scalability. With services and resources that are available in over 60 regions, the need for PLM scalability is no longer a challenge with on-demand compute and storage that's just there as needed. So you can scale your global production, design and engineering processes and workflows to do more with less, increase the number of products, and that you can continue to develop and introduce. We think about consistent, secure, and simplified user experience. So, management of all the global resources and services through a single pane of glass for IT administration, a user experience that is at least as good as on-premises and often better. So Azure really allows you to optimize your applications for maximum performance. We think about global collaboration, secure global collaboration across engineering teams, suppliers, partners, customers, manufacturing teams. Teamcenter on Azure enables a centralized global knowledge sharing on the cloud. And Microsoft Teams also brings a new dimension to being able to collaborate. Partners in our ecosystem integrate with Teamcenter to provide secure 3D visualization in Teams, for example, for virtual design reviews. And of course, how Siemens have integrated not only Teams, but along with the Azure OpenAI service to develop the Teamcenter app and integration, and the innovation that we're going to double click here today. So finally, we think about reliability, scalability, and compliance, and these are some of your most top of mind considerations that you can address with Teamcenter on Azure. So if we just move to the next slide. Okay. So there are many reasons to move and consolidate PLM on cloud. Manufacturers, OEMs, and suppliers are driving end-to-end digital transformation of their product development and operations processes to really enable continuous delivery of products and services, as well as the optimization of those production operations. So PLM is one of the key systems, and it manages an ever-increasingly large amount of product and production data, both structured and unstructured throughout life cycles. So, take the evolution and the rationalization of the as-designed bill of materials to the as-built, the as-maintained configuration. Think about CAD files, documents, specifications, engineering change, binary software, EDA or electronics, process data, production data, NC code, process plans, work instructions, sustainability, materials data. I mean, the list just goes on and on. There's so many assets and so much data that's created almost continuously throughout the life cycle. And data is really key to being able to first train and then infer insights using generative AI and language models. So you're going to see, we will go into depth in one such example of this today with the Teamcenter Azure OpenAI app. And, Teamcenter often works in tandem with other systems. So think about ERP, QMS, MES systems. So these models give us an opportunity to think about aggregating, automating, and operationalizing, across all of these complexities. So generative AI, can create a lot of value in a wide range of use cases, just in these areas alone. And that's why McKinsey, estimated the overall kind of impact of generative AI would be adding up to $4.4 trillion in value to the global economy, or an additional 0.6% to global GDP. The economics and technical requirements to start are not that prohibitive, while the downside of inaction could be, quickly falling behind your competitors or losing market share or even relevance. So the takeaway here is really, think about, and this came up in a recent conversation with, with a customer. Generative AI is not going to replace humans. Humans with generative AI are going to replace humans without generative AI. So with that said, I'm going to now hand you over to Keith, who's going to take us a little bit deeper.
Thanks, Guy. Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing with Microsoft Teams, Teamcenter, and Azure OpenAI. So manufacturers today, they're just coming off of some really hard times with supply chains finally just getting back in order, and then they're hit again by interest rates going through the roof, inflation through the roof. And on top of this, they need to maintain their margins so that they're able to provide a competitive product, but stay in a profitable area. And so this starts putting pressure on making sure they've got good quality. They're able to deliver the product to market it, make the changes, make the adaptation as fast as possible, so they're able to stay competitive in their areas. Next slide, please. Teamcenter is the industry-leading product lifecycle management tool, and this is where engineers go for their information. This is the it manages all the intellectual property, making sure you're looking at the right revision, you've got the right drawing, you've got the right part, the right process to build it, building against the right requirements. And it's the tool that has been validated by both customers as well as industry experts as the leading tool in this area to make sure engineers are working on the right information as they build their products and try to bring them to market. Next slide. So what our customers see Teamcenter as the single source of truth. This is where I can go and I can know that I've got the right revision of the part, I've got the right information, that I'm comparing it to the right set of requirements. And then as engineering happens and changes progress, it's going through the right flows to make sure the right people are going to look at the information, the downstream impact is properly evaluated and understood, to ensure that all the teams are working together and collaborating together to build the products they need and get them to market as fast as possible. Next slide, please. So when it comes to collaboration, Teamcenter is, like the other products, we have a set of teams that are working to collaborate and build a product across, a diverse set of people, teams, geographies, etc. One of the things we've noticed is, and watched over the last few years, is pretty much every one of our customers have started implementing Teams over the last few years, and the adoption rate has been incredible how fast that product has come in place. And it's become that tool, the first thing you look at in the morning. First thing I do is I go to my desktop, I log into Teams, I see what I need to know. Has somebody tried to contact me overnight? Is there something in my activity feed I need to be aware of? Is there something else that I need to be understanding when I start my day, and what's my priorities of today? We want to take advantage of that with Teamcenter. We want to get that information to the engineers, to the stakeholders. It could be supply chain, it could be purchasing. We want to get that information to them in the same manner. We know you're going to be there. Let's get you that information, and let's let you perform some of those tasks as easily and quickly as possible. Letting you work where you are right now. And then we also looked at this and said, okay, well, OpenAI has something to offer here as well. The way the language models work with OpenAI is very impressive, and maybe we can make your job a bit easier by leveraging some of that inside of this. And so what we did over the last years, we've co-developed a product with Microsoft to bring these three tools together and provide an offering to engage different types of users across the engineering lifecycle and the product development lifecycle to help bring these products to market. Next slide, please. So how do we see this? So, today Teamcenter is being used. You're designing your products, you're comparing them against the requirements. The engineers are, defining what are the key components in it. They're doing their simulations, analysis on it. We're defining what's the best way to manufacture this and what's the process plan, as well as potentially the documentation and work instructions to build it, as well as, rolling those changes out so that, as products improve over time, we can get that into service and get the assets that are actually built updated to the latest information as well. So this it's a standard flow that we see with a lot of the engineering process in place. But we also have people who are more casually working with Teamcenter. It could be purchasing, it could be supply chain, and they need access to Teamcenter as well. They need to make sure they're ordering the right parts, they're ordering from the preferred suppliers, or just on the shop floor, ensuring that the products are coming together properly. And so this is what we've kind of referred to as Teamcenter in your pocket, providing you access to Teamcenter from where you're at. So, for example, your manufacturing engineer might be walking down the production line and they see an issue and they want to document. They can grab their mobile phone and log into Teams and just document the problem right there on the spot and capture it while they see it, and without having to try and remember it and go back to another device to do it. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at that use case for a second. This is one of the use cases that we're helping enable with the Teams app for Teamcenter. And so in this case, we've got our manufacturing engineer, and she's in Malaysia, and she's walking down the shop floor, and she can identify, hey, there's a problem with the dashboard here, and I'm watching him. One of the technicians use a hammer to install it, and and she might want to capture that on the fly and say, okay, I'm going to pull up my phone. She can take a photo of the process, do a circle on it to bring your attention to the area of concern, and then start documenting that problem. And and she could directly start filling in, populating the forms as she sees fit. Kind of your standard way of doing it. But this is one of the areas we saw, hey, OpenAI can really help here. And this allows her to document it and just speak naturally. So instead of trying to fill out the form and what's the impact, what's the sequence of events to get here, she can literally just log in and say, and start speaking to it like she's speaking to the engineer who's going to do the fix, and say, hey, I was in the Malaysia plant and I was at station 26 and I saw the technician using a hammer to install the dashboard, and just talk to it and let OpenAI extract that information. And not only can she do it just using natural language, she can also use her native language. So instead of trying to do that in English, which she may or may not be very comfortable with, she could do that in Malaysian and let OpenAI do the translation for her. And one of the benefits we see with OpenAI is it's not like a word for word translation like the old days. OpenAI does a very intelligent interpretation based on the phrases and the local language and colloquialisms to convert it. Now that that's documented in the way we want it, you've got it sitting there. It's immediately in Teamcenter, and it can start its flow. And in this case, David, our mechanical designer, is the next person in line. As soon as that's documented, he can see that there's a problem and start looking into it, investigating it. Go to the next slide, please. And so David, seeing that problem, he can open up the information, he has access to all that engineering data. This could be the design, the drawings, the manufacturing process, the work instructions, the tooling. But he can understand and analyze all this and understand and try to define what's the best solution for this problem, and still mapping that back to the requirements to make sure that we're not designing something that breaks or goes against the intent of it. When he's proposed that solution, that will just go down the stream, and our change analyst, in this case, Charles, would receive notification, hey, there's something